welcome to another edition of your favorite talk show, the Shirlma Show. With us today is Joybert Javnyuy. Javnyuy is in the house today, and I am your host, Munja Shelley. Kindly note that Joybert is a coach, a trainer, he's a consultant, and he's also an author. He's got 5 books in the market right now. You're welcome to the Shirlma Show, Joybert.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
I'm telling you, it's a pleasure to have you. So, Javnyuy. We know Javnyuy. When I hear of Nyuy, I know it's God. So, what's the Jav in front?
Well, Jav in sort of means that to share or to share something to more than one person. So, Javnyuy means God is sharing to many people.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So please tell us a little bit about Joybert. So who was Joybert maybe in secondary school?
Secondary school, Joybert was the same like any other young boy growing up who is inspired by the things that a boy can be inspired by. Computer games, football, and funny enough, I didn't like school.
Oh, seriously? You look like a kind of serious student.
No, I was not. I was not a serious student. I am the type that was always promoted on trial. So that was how bad I didn't like school. So always the noises in class, kind of stuff. But my secondary school days are one of my best days. I had a lot of fun.
And now you're a proprietor of a company.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So tell us a little bit about the company. So where did the dream come from? When did the dream come about?
Well, CosDev Group is a company with different moving parts that, but all of them geared towards solving the challenges that I faced growing up. I am what they call wedlock kids. So when I was done with high school, my mom could not see me through university. So I was ready for the job market, but I didn't have the skills to compete in the job market. And that was when I started thinking of what if there was an institution that trains young people with employability skills or enterprise development skills. That is why the first institution under CosDev Group is the Training Center, the Center for Entrepreneurship, Leadership, and Business Management Development Africa. So the aim at that early stage in 2011 and 12, the mission was to train high school graduates and provide them with employability skills to help them get jobs in the job market. So that was the genesis of my entrepreneurship journey. But CosDev Group today has 4 subsidiaries. There's a training center, there's a CosDev Finance House, there is a Wika Jobs career management firm, and there's the corporate training and consultancy arm of CosDev Group.
So, but was there any particular incident that made you to come to that realization that, okay, this was the time to actually start the business?
Yeah, I think the incident was when I could not go to university like any other person, and I was searching for better ways that I could empower myself. And after that, in Baminda, I did the odd jobs like chantier, I did Okada, I did stuff. So I was in the university, but I was never in class because I had to work within the day to pay my fees. So I would go collect notes and just go write CAs and all of that. And I got my job in the 3rd year of my program before I even graduated. So after that, I worked just for about a year, 2 months, and I resigned. But the center was going on.
Wow.
Yes.
So CosDev Group, right, consists of 4 subsidiaries. Mm-hmm. So why is there a need for 4 subsidiaries under one business? Why didn't you just kind of like group it together and kind of have one business?
Well, one of the things is that what I foresee is that all of these subsidiaries will grow up to be very large businesses. Okay. And I think from the beginning it's good to have that structure that will give each business the laps or the opportunity to grow exponentially without being controlled by one mother body. CosDev Group will just be there as that mother company to supervise other subsidiaries. But the training center is growing so fast, the finance house is growing so fast, the corporate consulting arm is growing so fast, and they'll continuously grow. Nobody wants to be in business and be stagnant, so I keep pushing for that growth. And I don't want a situation whereby one power should be concentrated in one major body that will not give that opportunity for exponential growth. And I love to track results. So it's easier for me to track the results of the training center arm or the career management arm or the consulting arm.
Well, I get that,
Yeah.
right? Because actually that's one of the reasons at times for breaking down businesses into
Yeah.
pieces so that you can better track the results. So tell me, okay, one of you said the main aim of CosDev, right, is to solve social problems.
Yes.
So what are these social problems you're talking about?
Yeah, CosDev Group Limited, I always call it the social innovation company because if you look at all the problems we are solving, they are all social issues, not a typical business kind of issue. If you look at the training center helps high school guys who are finished and cannot go to university or university dropout, or anybody who is finding it difficult to integrate into the corporate world or get a job that they need. So we try to structure a program that is not very expensive or out of the reach of an average person. And of course, when you look at one of the biggest challenges in Africa is unemployment, and unemployment is powered by poor skills or underskilled of the young people. And it is not something that it can be treated as a pure business case or a business scenario. Then Weaker Jobs Career Management Firm is just solving the problem of unemployment. And CosDev Finance focuses on low-income earners, because we're trying to see how we can bring banking services or financial services to low-income earners who cannot afford, or what you call the unbanked in the society.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's the hardest thing about trying to solve social problems?
I think the hardest thing is being able to create a perfect business model that can put you in a position whereby you're able to make money and create impact at the same time. Because that's where there's a difference between a social enterprise and an NGO. NGOs totally may depend on foreign grants and donors and all of that. But a social enterprise may solve the same problem like an NGO, but there is a business model behind that. There's a money-making mechanism, which you have to consider the impact, the mission, and profit. So it's mission and profit going at the same time. Not like a traditional company whereby it's profit first before corporate social responsibility is coming, maybe as just doing it to please the laws of the land.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
More with Joybert Javnyuy after the break. If you're just joining us on the Shirlma Show, we are here with Joybert Javnyuy.
So the way you talk, right? Somebody might be tempted to think that it's always gloomy for you, right? So when you mentioned the fact that there was a time that even in times that you've thought of giving up, and maybe just getting a job somewhere. So take us through that thought process of coming back to that stage where you're like, okay, I'm going to try this again.
Yeah. Well, in the startup process, somebody defined building a startup as building an incredible company under difficult circumstances with limited resources.
Wow.
That is what entrepreneurs go through. You're always in a very difficult situation, but you have this incredible dream, like, I'm going to travel the world, I'm going to build a company in 7 countries and all of that. But the truth is that when you get up from bed, your landlord may be knocking, they don't even know what you're going to eat. So there are many situations I've had like that, and I've thought, you know what, let me just quit this thing and get a job. And funny enough, I always have offers from companies trying to woo me over to work with them and with good salaries.
Yeah, I can imagine, right?
But then you're like, come on, this dream, there's just something God lays in your heart, and only you can see it, only you can feel it. And I think that's why it's important as an entrepreneur to always have this long-term vision, something that inspires you. I always say, always have something that is bigger than you. Because when challenges come, you're able to eat it for breakfast, because there's something bigger than you that you're chasing. And of course, in entrepreneurship, those things will come your way. And that is why commitment and resilience are among the most important attitude of every entrepreneur. so that when things hit you up, you always bounce back and continue going.
So what is that instance that, let me say, something happened that you felt like, okay, this is it, I'm going to get a job. Now then, suddenly you came back. So what could have maybe been that thing that made you to stay back? Because I ask this question because many people know that, okay, as entrepreneurs, we should be resilient, we should persevere and so on. But now, they kind of be the source of motivation. So when things get really rough, where can I run to? What is it that maybe who is it that maybe I should look up to in order to stay focused and, okay, no, maybe there's something good coming?
Yeah, I think that I'm a church boy. I probably talk about that. I think that being able to merge my faith to business has greatly helped me to be able to. That's why since that happened like in 2014 or so, I've never thought of quitting ever again. And I've also mastered how to be sane and focused in the midst of chaos. Like something can be going around now and I'm sitting as if nothing is happening, because you cannot make the right decisions when you are not thinking straight. If you are able to master the art of staying sane and staying calm in the midst of chaos, it's very, very important in entrepreneurship. Because if you let your emotions drive your decision making, you will always crash. But if you are always calm and you reason out and you ask for help and advice, you always make the right decision.
But how do you get there? How do you master?
A lot of experiences, a lot of failures, a lot of many of those things will happen to you. And of course, having a mentor or a coach or a role model is a very important piece, because they will tell you how to manage these challenges, because they have seen it. Like one of my mentors was telling me one time, if that Lord knocks at your door, just tell him that you'll pay. he won't kill you. There's nothing he will do. You get a point. Or you don't have money, just chill and believe that you'll make money tomorrow morning. Stop overreacting. Right? Life would throw things at you, but he always tell me, make sure you pick out something from every crisis. And of course, that hope is very important. That hope that you're working towards something incredible. That belief that you know what you can do and what you cannot do is very important. And of course, one thing I learned is, in the midst of challenges, always focus on what you can control. And forget about what you cannot control.
Wow. Okay, talking about challenges, right? On the Miss P show, you mentioned that you actually made mention of the fact that one of the challenges that you guys face as motivational speakers is the fact that people believe that trainers from abroad are always better than the locals. So why do you think this is so?
There are a couple of things, but I think the most popular issue is the culture, how we grew up, believing that the best things come from the white man country, and that cuts across even professional services. So somebody will prefer a service from a white person because they think it's more professional than us back home. And of course, another thing could be the fakery around, or the other professionals that are not doing the things the right way. I've had situations whereby I got consult in a company whereby another young consultant came and messed up the whole thing. So you cannot blame them for looking at that. But I think the main challenge is that issue of playing down on local professionals or home-based professionals. Like, for example, it's funny, but it's true. There are some consulting contracts I only had when I started traveling out of the country and coming back. So they only trusted me because I could go and speak in other countries and come back, or go to the US, go to South Africa or Europe and come back. And that's when this company started believing in me. I mean, it's a contract we had last year because somebody told the founder he saw me in a conference in America somewhere, and that he's somebody that is good since he travels. So we need to rate people. And I did study abroad. Everything I do, I learned here on my own, and studying, reading, and having mentors that I work with and all of that. I've gone to programs. I mean, just like yesterday, someone asking me, which school did you study in the US? Because I was leading a session on business strategy. I said, no, I didn't study in the US. I just go work there and I come back. I studied in Cameroon. So we need to start believing in local styles. And even if start from local products too, not just services. That's why, like, for 3 years and 4 years already, I do my best to wear a lot of local wears, especially on international events, because if we don't promote that consumption of our own stuff, it's going to be a very big challenge for people to accept the things that we produce, and we'll keep consuming from outside. We'll always have a deficit in international trade.
So, but what do you think we need to do, back for the branding, okay? What do you think the locals need to do in order to encourage people to consume maybe the local products? I tell you why I say this. When you go out of the country, right, in most maybe European countries or maybe in America per se, you go to a store, right? You can maybe see a dress like what I'm putting on. It's clearly stated. You know that this one is of a higher quality, this one is of a lower quality. So remember, before we started this interview, I was telling you about my mom, right? So my mom takes this shoe and she's convincing me that no, this shoe is not from China. This shoe is actually from the Syria. But I know for sure that this is not a Chinese shoe. So this is a common practice. So how do we change that perception? Because little things like this actually play on the, let me say, on people's brain, on what they can trust and what they cannot trust. And it also goes same with maybe when you indulge on locals to do work for you, right? Because I've had a situation of, I've had I've had talks with people out of the country, and what they complain most about is who to trust back home.
Very true.
Okay, so how do we change this? What do you think?
We need to start bringing back some important values that define a good society, and that is, somebody said the most difficult thing to find in Cameroon is integrity and kindness, and you cannot refuse that fact, because it's what we experience on a daily basis. But I think that if professionals in any field starts having these core values of integrity and excellence and competence, making sure that if you say that you can do something, make sure you're competent enough to get it done. One time I told one of my best friends that one of the things, see, in Cameroon, let me bring it to Cameroon. It's funny, but that's my personal opinion. In Cameroon, I always say that there are about 4 ways to make it in Cameroon. Number 1, bribe your way through. You make it in Cameroon. Number 2, have a godfather who can speak for you. You make it in Cameroon. Number 3, please people or use your body. You make it in Cameroon. Number 4, become so good that they cannot ignore you. And I use number 2 on my friends that I'm going to become so good at this thing I'm doing, and nobody will be able to ignore me. So it's a very important piece, and that takes integrity, hard work, excellence, and competence. When you bring this thing to the table, because we live in a marketplace whereby they reward only excellence and value. If you don't bring those 2 things to the table, nobody pays you anything. And if young people start doing that, like for example, I have clients I consult in the US while I'm based in Cameroon. We have had US contracts because of recommendations from Cameroonians who have families in the US or friends in the US. They recommend, hey, there's this guy who do business consulting. He's good. He has helped me done this, and they see the results. So professionals need to make sure that they don't take shallow skills and competence to the public. Make sure that what you have inside is very good. Whatever you express in public is determined by your level of interior greatness and skills that you have. If you cannot bring that to the table, and at the end, you always lose it. You know, I always say it's a kind of job that if you mess up consistently, clients stop coming to you, because it's a job that's based a lot on recommendation and people talking about the good works that you can do.
So Joybert, in addition to training, right, you're also a coach. Okay, so I asked you this question backstage. So why should I actually hire a coach when there's Google?
Yeah. Google, you will learn, which is very true. But of course, not everybody can learn and understand what they're learning. And succeeding in life takes a lot of systems and knowledge and practice and execution and so on to make it work. If everybody could read and do, everybody will be successful. And that's where a coach comes in. A coach speeds up your execution process. A coach don't necessarily teach you what to do. A coach shows you how to do it and holds you accountable to make sure it is done. So if you want to, if you come to me and tell you what to do, go read a book. If you come to me and want result, then let's do some work. And that's one of the things I warn my clients at the first is, if you are not ready to work, don't pay for your services, because you wouldn't like the way I will get you to work. Because I'm all about how do we get it done, not what do we need to study. So, and very few human beings are designed to be lazy. That's why to get up from bed in the morning, if you're 30 years old, every morning you still find it difficult to leave your bed. That's true, right? Why? Because we love comfort zone, we love to rest, we love to just be there and watch television and all of that. But a coach has systems and tools and methodologies that he can hold you accountable, have an action plan, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and holds you accountable every single day, and you produce results. There are people that you work with them, one told me the other day, I have achieved in 6 months what I'm able to achieve in 3 years.
Wow.
Because a coach is always on your head and holds you accountable and makes sure the job is done, you see. And that takes a lot of discipline, hard work, commitment, and tools, of course, coaching tools that are designed to help you in that process.
Wow. So, but are we getting there? Because when I was discussing with you before, right, you also mentioned the fact that at least from 2011 when you started and now the progress and people believing in coaching has actually increased. So why is that?
I think it's the results that the people we have worked with are able to speak for itself. So that's why most of coaching is a socially conscious business. That is, it works a lot on, we can call it 3 R's: referrals, recommendations, and reviews. So and human beings love copy work, or they love to see, oh, Shirley is doing well, what's making her to do well? So when they come to you, you are forced to tell them, oh, he was working with Coach Joybert and this is what happened, and they come to see that. And that is why it's very easy if you're a bad coach, you have a bad business, because nobody will refer, recommend, or review your services. If you're a good coach, it's like a ripple effect, where there's no way that every Africans, we're a family-oriented society. So I can bet that you have at least 3 to 5 closest friends. And if anything shakes around you, they will know. They will notice that there's a change. And when there's that change, they will like to find out why. And your 5 closest friends have 5 other closest friends. And that's how the ripple effect goes through. You see, so that is why it's very important to make sure that in the business, it's always about result first before the money. Because if you want to go on the money and look at how other coaches charge in Canada and America and Europe, you will not be able to do the right things. And of course, our scenario is different. Our marketplace is different. The society is different. People behave different. Government laws are different. There are many different moving parts that make the economy much different from what they experience. So the referrals, the recommendations, and of course, the consistent desire that people have to be more successful, it's making the need to, and many of them also noticing that at some point you need help. Because one thing also is that we had this bad philosophy that asking for help is a sign of weakness. It's like many people shy away from asking for help, which is not good. Asking for help is a sign of maturity and bravery, that you know what you're doing.
Wow. If you're not enjoying this interview, then I don't know what else you want, okay? Because as for me, I'm just a student today on the Shirlma Show. More with Joybert Javnyuy after the break. So if you're just joining us today on the Shirlma Show, we are here with Joybert Javnyuy, a trainer, a coach, a consultant, and author of 5 books. Joybert is making waves in Cameroon. So Joybert, you're actually the author of 5 books right now. Do you mind me?
Yes, please.
Okay.
That's fine.
So you have so if you're looking for a book to read, right? If you want to maybe get successful, you should actually be looking at books like this. So maybe I let you actually talk about them, okay?
That's fine.
All right. So we talk about 35 days of redefining you for success.
Yes.
Then you have how to begin from idea to action. Tomorrow's iconic leaders. Then you have the future of work in Africa. From average to unforgettable. So please, let's just take one and talk about. So let's look at 33 days of redefining you for success.
Yeah.
So Joybert, why should I buy this book?
That's my first book, and I think my highest selling book, 7 African countries and counting. And that book, I wrote that book after speaking in Accra in 2016 or so. And one mama came and said, I wish I heard some of these things at your age, but I'm happy my daughter was in this seminar with me.
Wow.
Those were her words.
That's amazing.
And then she said, do I have something that I can transfer some of the things I was talking about? And that was the question that led to me writing this book. And because I was talking that day about how to become the person that can attract success or make your dreams happen. I believe that it is not about having a dream. Anybody can dream, but it is about becoming the person that can make that dream to happen. So the book is about you going through a 35 days journey that will help you to redefine you to become that person that can make the dream to happen in terms of visions, attitude, skill set, competence, behavioral pattern, and networking, just handling those key things and teaching you how to do it and putting you in a spot that will enable you to get action, because the book has action steps that you must take each day for 35 days.
So that when I was looking at the book, I saw the book online. So the good news is this book only costs you 2,000 francs. That's the good news. I was really impressed to see that. Okay, I think it's quite affordable, you know. So given what you're saying that you can get from the book.
Yeah.
So but below the book, okay, like let me see, when I was reading about the book, you wrote there that if you're not willing to complete all the stages,
the 35 days status, you not start.
Don't start.
Yes.
Yeah. So why?
Consistency is an important piece in success. So if you cannot even finish a book as little as this, how do you want to consistently live your dreams? So it's about wanting you to know that you need to wear that consistent psychology of completing tasks before you finish. And that's one thing I spoke about in the book. If you are that kind of a person that you leave tasks halfway, it will be hard for you to live your dreams. People who live their dreams are those who start things and finish what they started.
Wow, Joybert, thank you so much for everything. I'm just enjoying every piece. But right now, let's have some fun. Please, let's play it. We will have some set of questions, okay, for you, if you don't mind. So you just read them and maybe give us an answer to the question. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Feel free to change if you want to. Thank you. Okay, here you go.
Okay.
So you just pick one.
All right.
Thank you.
If you could choose your own name, what will it be? Of course, Javnyuy Joybert.
Seriously? Wow. Then mom did well.
I love my name to death. So in my next life, I will still choose Javnyuy Joybert.
Wow. Then mom did well. Thank you, mom.
As a child, what did you think would be awesome about being an adult, but isn't as awesome as you thought it would be? I loved to watch action movies when I was growing up. So I was like, when I have my television, so my mom used to come switch it off and send me away to go study or go do some house chores, and I used to get very angry. But so I was like, when I get my television, I will watch my movies like for 2 weeks and nobody would disturb me. And coincidentally, the last time I had a television was in 2015.
Whoa.
From that moment till now, I've never bought a television. I don't have time. I am always on TV shows and TV interviews and news, but I've never watched myself on a television, actually.
Wow.
So if it's not on YouTube, I will not see it. So that's how bad it is when it comes to So I knew that when I grew up, I'll have a television in my room, in my sitting room, one in the kitchen, where I just turn and watch my movies. I used to love to watch the Bruce Lees and the Jackie Chans and all of that. So, but then this is what life has done to us.
If you get up at 3 a.m. and you go to bed at 11 p.m., then I wonder. Then you really don't need a TV, right?
Okay, let's see this. What is the most romantic thing you have ever done? Seriously?
Yeah, tell us.
I think I'm so terrible at. I always tell my friends, don't bring your relationship advice to me, because maybe I will ask your girlfriend to dump you or you dump your girlfriend. That's the highest thing I can say. What have I ever done in being? Because I always say, I love my work so much, so the space for romance kind of is very, very little. Let me see, back in secondary school, I was always shying away from ladies in secondary school.
Oh my.
So high school, I had a crush on one girl, but I didn't say anything. So,
So that's what you did.
so yeah, that's the most romantic thing I've ever done. Like just being afraid to tell how much you feel.
Oh.
So it's so unromantic of me, I think.
Oh.
Somebody said entrepreneurs are a very unromantic set of people. I don't know, but maybe if my case could be, you could use that to validate the research.
So, but where is the girl now?
I don't know. I've never met her since high school again.
Maybe we'll talk about this. So thank you so much, Joybert.
Thank you so
It
much.
was
for
really
having me.
fun having you on the Shirlma Show today.
I did enjoy the show.
Thank you. So, Joybert, so please, how can people get to you?
There are a couple of ways people can get to me. My website, javnyuyjoybert.com, just my two names. And even on all social media platforms, Javnyuy Joybert, the same. Or you can send me an email at javnyuyjoybert22 at gmail.com, or you contact the office number +237 6561 40207.
Wow, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on the Shirlma Show
Thank you for
today.
having me.
Please, on the Shirlma Show today with us was Joybert Javnyuy, a coach, an author, a consultant, a trainer, an entrepreneur, simply put. It was a pleasure being in his presence, and I've been your host, Munja Shirley. Please do not forget to subscribe to the Shirlma Show. Please, you can share our videos. Please do like. Please do not forget to comment. Leave your comments below and we can reach you. We'll always be there to reach you. Thank you.